Hey guys, tonight we are cooking stuffed peppers, and we got green peppers in some boiling water. We're going to do that for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we will start the preparation. Okay guys, so tonight's meal is stuffed green peppers. Thankfully, my bride did all this preparation for me. She got the peppers and onions chopped up in the food processor. What we're looking at is about 1/2 to 2/3 of a cup of onions and peppers. Bag of Italian cheese. The recipe calls for chopped up American. Use whatever you want. We got about 1.5 pounds of hamburger. 4 green peppers. Our family's getting smaller. But guys, you know, the peppers are cheap enough. You may yield more mixture, so maybe do up a couple extra peppers, and if you don't use them, you can always chop them for something else. And here we got about 1.5 cups of rice, and then a can of tomatoes. Now the recipe calls for either basil spice or oregano. We happen to have some that are doctored up with basil and garlic. So, you know, that's one way to cheat. Also, it's going to call for a little bit of Worcestershire. So, we got a pan ready to go. We're not doing cast iron tonight. I don't have a cast iron pan that's deep enough. So we went with the all inorganic, full of DuPont materials, the stuff that, you know, creates a non-stick pan. So I'll be right back at you and we'll start cooking. Okay guys, we're rocking and rolling here with our hamburger cooking in the saucepan. I'm going to add the onions, about 2/3 of a cup. Actually, everything is about 2/3 of a cup. I misspoke before. Same thing with the rice, not 1.5 cups, but 2/3 of a cup of rice. I'm going to add the peppers in here. We're going to brown this all together as the burger cooks. And what you'll find with recipes like this is you will want to, after this stuff cooks down, you will want to add your seasoning to your hamburger mixture with your veggies, with your onions and peppers. That'll be the next step when we add the tomatoes and the spices and everything. Depending on how this comes out, we may have to drain this hamburger to drain the fat out of it. If there's not much fat, I may opt to just leave it right in there. Of course, you know, tons of flavor. But we'll get these veggies mellowing out with the hamburger and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we got the burger and the onions and peppers browned up. And now what we're going to do, I did drain the grease out of this hamburger because we're going to be adding additional liquid. We're going to be adding 1/2 cup of water. We're going to be adding a can of undrained tomatoes. I think it's 14.5 ounces, something like that. 1.5 pounds of hamburger in the pan. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire. 2/3 a cup of rice. So I'm going to add that stuff in right now. The tomatoes, the water. The Worcestershire. This is when you would also add basil or garlic. Basil or oregano. I don't think I'm going to add too much of that because the tomatoes have it in it. And 2/3 cups of rice. And what you want to do is mix this all up really good. Get it simmering. Once everything's all mixed up, bring it to a boil. And then once it's to a boil, bring it back down to a simmer again. And the only other thing to add to this right now, and this is really quite an easy recipe, is salt and pepper. I got a couple grinders there. We usually use sea salt and then black pepper. And we'll grind some of that in there and then we'll go to the next step. Okay guys, Woodsy back with you here. I've been simmering this mixture and it's just not looking all that good to me. We got the tomatoes, we got all the spices in here, and it's just not looking very, very appetizing to me. Hey, wifey. Wifey. What do you think about adding some tomato sauce to this mixture? Huh? Want to say hi to the camera?
No.
You know, the other thought I had is maybe we could add some wine to this to flavor it up. See if we got some red wine. This is just looking very, very bland to me. I don't know if we got any sauce up here. What were you thinking? Spaghetti sauce? We got some tomato basil from Market Basket. Let's see if we got any red wine we can add to that. Yeah, there's some Pinot Noir. That's good drinking wine right there, but it's a new bottle. I'm going to have to open it, so I'll have to get back to you. Hold on a minute, guys. Okay, guys, as you can see, as I mix this rice and Bergen mixture up, you can see it's pretty dried out. Not dried out, but there's no liquid left. And the tomato is what we have. And I'm not a big rice fan. I like stuff kind of saucy. And if you've done many spaghetti sauces, if you know me, I like to add some red wine to make spaghetti sauces taste good. So I'm going to do that here on this stuffed pepper mix. Look at some red Pinot Noir. Great drinking wine. So if you run out of beer or whatever, you can always take a glass of that. I just poured a bunch of that in there. I'm just adding this for flavor. I'm going to mix that all up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of this marinara, this tomato basil pasta sauce. I'm going to mix a little bit of that in there so that when your stuffed peppers come out, they're not going to be dry. Back at ya. Okay guys, this wine and sauce mixture that I've added has been bubbling here for a while. As you can see, the rice and Hamburg mixture is much more, it's going to be much more juicy. It's going to be much more fun to eat when you put that in a stuffed pepper. So the next step is going to be, I have a full cup of Italian blended cheese here. You can use whatever you want. The recipe calls for American cheese. Use whatever you are comfortable with. I'm going to try to pour half of that in there. Okay. Sherry says last time I made this dish I put too much cheese in the mixture. The cheese serves a couple of different purposes. It kind of helps hold everything together. Gives you that good flavor. Makes the stuff stick together. Now mine is going to be a little bit more liquidy than some people would prefer. I can't stand dry rice, or any dry mixture for that matter. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to continue to mix this and let some of the liquid cook out of it, and then I'm going to stuff the peppers. But as you can see, the change that I made to this recipe, we could probably fill a dozen peppers with this mixture. So green peppers are really cheap. Don't be afraid to get a bunch of them ready. You know, we've got 4 of them here. They are deep lengthwise, and they're great leftovers. So we'll be right back with you when they're ready to go in the oven. Okay guys, like I said, I was spot on as far as the mixture. We had much more mixture than we needed. Here's the 4 peppers that we prepared. I reserved half a cup of cheese. Just going to put that on the top of these. Mix that around so that'll brown nice and toasty on top. And we could probably do 4 more peppers, at least 2 more peppers with this mixture, the way I showed you guys tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the oven on. I'm going to go bake. We're going to go 375. Start. When your oven comes up to temp, put your peppers in, and just like anything else you cook, wait till the cheese gets golden brown like you want it. Everything's heated through. But guys, if you follow this recipe, definitely cut up some more peppers. And I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. And geez, I didn't give any tributes to alcohol tonight. One of them was Barefoot Pinot Noir that bailed me out to adding some flavor, similar to what I do to spaghetti sauces. Don't be afraid of having some red wine around. Also a nice nice wine to drink too. Very smooth, smoother than the Cabo Cabernets and the Merlots. Just a staple for me, a little bit of Rebel IPA. You guys know me, kind of a rebel. Last night we had a night out with friends at Cheers. Concord Brewery, and a relatively new brewery down here in town. They don't serve food yet. I guess they do sampling, but I had one of their brews on tap down at Cheers. It was a triple IPA. It was like 9% alcohol. And you would think that something like that you wouldn't even be able to swallow. It was the smoothest IPA I've ever had. I couldn't believe how good it was. Of course, I sipped through it through the meal and stuff, and you know, your regular beer drinkers might have 3 or 4 to your 1. But very smooth. I would recommend that if there's any beer connoisseurs checking this out. Definitely head down to Cheers and ask for that. Alright guys, we'll be back at you real quick with the finished product. Hey guys, it's time to open up the oven and check out the stuffed peppers. As you can see, they're not quite browned. I'm going to brown them a little bit longer at 375 in the oven. And guys, I'm working on about 4 hours sleep. We went out and enjoyed company on the town last night. And what I'd like to tell you is here's the leftover mixture, right? And go ahead and cook more peppers. I'm starting to get bored with this stuff. I'm thinking for ideas in the future, maybe maybe a pork roast dinner, maybe venison cooked in a fondue pot, something you guys have never seen. Unlike the traditional fondue cheese, we do something very special with fondue and venison. But you can do it also with beef. Same thing with my famous stroganoff recipe. If any of you guys like stroganoff, I can do that. You guys can do that at home with beef if you don't have venison. But I'm getting to the point where I'm running out of ideas. So if you guys have any ideas, you want to continue with this, you want me to do some more videos, definitely give me a heads up and shoot me some ideas. So guys, I hope it's been good. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.